you go. Tell me how you pronounce your name again.
Latieadd.
Latieadd, okay. We're here today on Steve Hall Radio with Barb Latieadd. She just completed a book called Under the Rubble, her experiences on the day of the earthquake and how she survived it. Barb, tell me about the status of Haiti right now.
There's still a lot of rubble. There's been a little bit of cleanup, but not a whole lot. There's still lots of people living in tent cities, waiting. They're just waiting, hoping that they'll have a house someday. But basically, people still live in fear of another quake and just surviving, day-by-day survival.
You came to Haiti in 1981.
1981. I was there for 29 years before the quake.
What do you remember about that day and what happened afterwards? You lost your leg in the rubble.
Mm-hmm. That day, it was such a normal day to start. I don't remember what Patrick and my husband and I's activity was before that, but I remember every day around 4 o'clock, 4:30, I'd go out on the porch to the elliptical machine to do my exercises, and that's what I was doing that day. I had the music on, so I didn't hear the rumble, but all of a sudden, everything was shaking like I've never felt a shake before. There was nothing to hang on to. It was a very helpless feeling, and finally, when I stopped, I didn't know where I was at that point. I just know I was sitting, and I felt, my first realization was that I felt something had almost severed my foot from my leg. And as soon as all the rumbling stopped, I called for Patrick, and he answered, but we couldn't get to each other.
He was under the rubble too. Both of you were.
Yes. We both started on the second story of the house where we were living, but in a different room. So he saw the house, he saw half of our house go down, and then he was in darkness, and he was there for 18 hours before they were able to get him out. I got out probably within 20 or 30 minutes. I was able to crawl out with some help.
And your injuries, they were pretty bad. They took you to the hospital.
48 hours. It took him 48 hours to get us out of Haiti, and it was just the miracle of God, because we were told, we finally got to another mission compound, and another missionary came and told us that they had ordered or had called and had a mission plane on the way to come and take us out because we were both in critical condition, but they could never find the plane. They could never get connection. There were so many planes in the air, and they could never get connection with it. And so when we were at the airport at a cargo area, there was a Canadian military plane there with Canadian doctors that looked at us and actually started a lifeline on Patrick to just save his life. And they finally agreed to drop us in Homestead at the Air Force Base. It was the only way we could get out of Haiti.
Tell us about your mission work.
I started 29 years ago. I went as a single missionary. Patrick is a native of Haiti, and we worked together for quite a long time doing different projects. He was helping the pastor I was working with. He was helping that same pastor doing church work and teaching. So now we are working on the southern coast of the island. We plant churches in only remote areas of Haiti because that is the most rejected areas. They're way off the beaten path. We are working actively in 5 different villages. We have 5 churches, and there's 3 schools. 3 of the villages have schools, and then also a medical clinic. Patrick teaches pastors and leaders how to be pastors. Instead of pastoring a church, he's pastoring the pastors.
I see. You said rejected areas. What does that mean?
That means basically the government doesn't even know they're there. Nobody knows these people are there. They're way up in the mountains. They're off of any kind of main roads. Life is very, very hard for them, and yet people stay there because there's where their grandparents lived. Their grandparents before that is just, like they inherit the land, so they never move out. I asked somebody one time, he says, why do you stay? It's so hard. They have to walk so far to get anything. Most of them walk maybe 20, 30 minutes to get their daily supply of water. There's no stores. There might be a few little markets around. They said this is the only place they have a little bit of land where they can live. This is where they can't afford to go any other place. So, and it's very, very hard. There's, like, the little bit of food that they have is what they grow in their garden.
You wrote a book, pretty much, there's humor in it, a lot of seriousness. It's called Under the Rubble. Why'd you write it, and what results have there been from the writing of the book?
The book was a long-time dream that I had. I've always wanted to write a book, but I felt like this was really important to me to write. The stories, it's almost like a memoir of my 29 years of Haiti. It's a lot of stories that actually happened either to me, my husband, and I did interview a couple of other people that I knew had just some really unique experiences in their life. So the book came out of a desire to just write down those experiences and the impression they had left on my life. Yes, they are very serious stories, but I had written that part of the book before the quake, and it was in my computer, and I remember laying in the hospital bed, and I go, oh God, no. I wrote all my stories, now they're gone because my computer is under the rubble. And when they started we only had a very few things that came out of the rubble, and our computers, Patrick and my computers, came out from under the rubble, and they were working. So I didn't lose my stories, so I used I wrote the quake story, our quake story, and the miracles that happened in our lives through the quake as part of the book as well. It's under the rubble, and it was the hardest part of the book to write, because it was like reliving the quake all over again.
How did you get the words on paper?
I published them. I had a publisher in Sarasota, Florida, and I went there, and she agreed to publish it, and I published it, and I've really enjoyed sharing my story with other people.
How can our listeners get a copy of the book?
It's available on Amazon. It's available on Amazon under the rubble, and it's available on Barnes and Nobles on the internet or through our website as well, livingwordhaiti.org. It's also available there through PayPal.
Very good. Thank you very much. Very good. Okay.